House Republicans, as promised, have today passed a national Parental Bill of Rights that has Democrats predictably crying fascism. Because what else do they have? The bill requires schools to publish their curriculum publicly for parents to peruse ahead of time, and demands that parents also receive a specified list of books and reading materials that are accessible in the school's library. Why not? Parents can go read the textbooks. Pretty good idea. It also gives parents a say when schools are creating or updating the policies for student privacy and makes schools provide any information about violence on school grounds to parents. Sounds like a pretty good idea. Join me here to discuss it now, a Texas parent, member of Young Americans for Liberty, Brendan Steinhauser. Brendan, good to have you here. I mean, doesn't sound fascist to me. Sounds pretty novel. Okay, here's the, it's like you go up to a restaurant and the menu is posted outside. Maybe I like it, maybe I don't, but here are the books that are being used. Here's what they're teaching in history. Here's what they're teaching in geography and in science. What's wrong with any of that?
Yeah, well, I think what's wrong with it is that the teachers' unions don't want to lose control. They have a tight grip on the education system. So anything that threatens that, anything like this, which has to do with parental rights, with education freedom and transparency, is a threat to those powers that be. But this is a common sense idea. It's something that parents across the country are demanding at local school board meetings, all the way up to state legislatures, and now through their members of Congress. It's just about transparency. It's about parents knowing what is being taught in the classroom for public school students. And keep in mind, these parents are the ones who are footing the bill for all of this through their tax dollars, most of which is funded locally, but also state and federal tax dollars. So they have every right to know what is being taught in those classrooms.
You mean if I pay the bill, I can look at what I'm buying? I mean, what craziness you're talking here, Brendan. I pay the bill and I should be able to look at what I'm buying. Gee, I don't have to buy it sight unseen, which is what we've done, by the way, in education for the last 30 years. We bought sight unseen, and now we realize we bought a pig in a poke, didn't we?
Absolutely. And I think we as parents over these decades have ceded that ability or that desire to see what is going on. We've sort of trusted that things were in good hands, right? We made the mistake of trusting the experts, once again, the quote unquote experts. And it's just been a mistake. I think the COVID shutdowns and mask mandates and vaccine mandates across the country really forced parents to decide, what are we going to do about this? They started to see what was going on in the classroom. They started to see what was being taught. More importantly, what wasn't being taught in the classroom. Our education system is not where it needs to be because of all this focus on left-wing propaganda instead of actual history, geography, mathematics, etc. So I think parents really were kind of shocked by what they found during the kind of the COVID era, the COVID shutdowns in particular. And I think now they're demanding more transparency, more education freedom. You're seeing school choice bills across the country passing in state after state. And I think that this is the parent revolution happening right before our eyes.
Well, and here's something we've been talking about on this program a lot that has been ignored by the mainstream media. No surprise there. That's why we're here to give people actual information. During the November 2022 midterm elections, all of the attention was on Congress and how many seats the Republicans gained or didn't gain. And so the red wave wasn't as expected. So that got all of the attention. But what has not been discussed and should be is all across this country, in blue states as well, school boards went conservative. School boards went red all across America. And that should tell you a lot, shouldn't it?
Absolutely. I was very involved in my local school board races here last year, and we're still involved this year. And we were able to make some big changes here in the Austin area. And I've seen that happen not only in this city, but across the state and the country, to your point. And it's this amazing organic grassroots effort of just moms and dads and guardians who are coming together and saying, enough is enough. We're going to take control. We're going to, kick these power hungry people out of power. We're going to get rid of this, woke indoctrination that is trying to be foisted upon our children. We are going to, kind of take the responsibility now into our own hands to make sure that we have eyes on what is going on. And so I've been really impressed by the moms and dads who are involved in this fight, again, locally. I mean, I kind of joke that there's a lot of mama bears that are leading the effort here in this Lake Travis school district that I'm afraid of. I don't ever want to cross them because they love their children. They will do anything to get them a great education, and you don't want to stand in their way, because if you do, they will go right through you and make the changes that need to happen.
Yeah. So why do you think the school unions, the teachers unions, feel that they have this entitlement to your children? Because they don't really think they're your children, Brendan. They're not my kids or your kids. The unions think they're their kids, don't they?
They absolutely do. This is about power, jobs for adults, money for adults and for institutions. So the teachers unions are extremely powerful. They're one of the most well-funded special interest groups in the country at the state level and at the national level. They want to maintain their own power, their own influence. And part of how they do that is by holding themselves out to be experts. Number one, we're experts in this field, which I think that can be easily challenged after what we've seen. And then number two, they act as if they care as much about our children as we parents do. And it's just not simply the case. If you look at what they really say behind closed doors, some of which has been reported on and some of which has been brought to light in recordings and things like that, it is about their jobs, their power, their money, and maintaining that. And so they are threatened by parents who want to, be involved in the process. Right? They want to have a say. They want to know what's going on. They're so threatened that their political allies at the Justice Department have decided to treat parents as if they are domestic terrorists. That is where we're at in this country. And I think it's absolutely absurd. And it's all the more reason for parents to take back their rights and to fight for education freedom in America.
And worse than that, they've had the FBI investigate these people as domestic terrorists because they had the nerve. They had the gall to go to school board meetings, a public meeting, and voice their concerns about what's being taught in classrooms and say, wait a second, I don't want this taught to my kids. This is garbage. This is indoctrination. This is woke BS. And then the FBI is then on them, using the full strength of the federal government to investigate, to intimidate. Really, Brendan, that's really what's happening. I'll give you the last word.
Yeah, no, I think that's exactly right. It's this sort of unholy alliance between the federal government in particular and the unions and just sort of the educrats in the system. And they're using it to wield power. They're using it to go after their political enemies. They see parents as their political enemies, which is crazy. And, I've talked to a lot of these parents and worked with them, again, locally, but also across the country. And they really just want what's best for their kids. They want the freedom to choose, what their kids learn and where they go to school. And they want them to get a great education so that they can be upwardly mobile in this country. That is what they're focused on. And unfortunately, the educrats and the teachers unions and the power that be in the federal government, the Department of Education, they have just been pushing down this, top driven left wing indoctrination, replacing education with propaganda. And parents have had enough. And so change is coming.
Yeah, it is coming. Because of people like you, Brendan, and others, again, all across this country, school boards flipped red for a reason. And I think that trend continues in 2024 because parents, they've had it. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, Steve.
Really appreciate it. All right, up after the break, President Joe Biden found